Hello and welcome back to Making Number Sense Make Sense. Today I'm going to share with you 5 simple steps to set your math workshop time up for the entire year. Now I want you to imagine that your stations are going exactly the way you want, there's no conflict, and everybody's doing what they should be. Sounds like a dream, right? And it is, honestly. There's never going to be perfect silence or perfect whatever all the time. But there are definitely things that you can do to support your students in making the best choices and getting the most out of their math station time. So the first step is don't do math during math workshop time. I know, it sounds crazy, right? But I'm talking about the first week, maybe even 2 weeks of school, setting up your math station time. There's going to be a lot of manipulatives and a lot of things that they're going to be able to use throughout the year, some of which they might never have seen before. So since they are still just kids want to play with things, and really it's very helpful, especially at the beginning of the year, to give them the opportunity to explore the things that you're going to be doing and just play with them. It'll save you a lot of headaches and silliness in the long run. Step number 2, set clear expectations. You really need to think about the way that you want your classroom to run and show the kids exactly what they should do, so there's no really wiggle room, no room for error, and just so that they're aware, like, oh, this is okay and this is not okay. So you need to think about the way that you want them to move from station to station, the way that they might have to ask to go to the bathroom, or if you're with a small group, what can they do if they really need your support. So all of those things are things you're going to want to think, what is the best for my students and my teaching style, and make sure that you clearly define those with your students. Step number 3, practice. Practice moving around, practice using the manipulatives, practice putting them away, practice. Giving students the opportunity to practice, make mistakes, ask questions, sets up an environment in which it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to ask for clarification, because that's what we want. We would rather them ask us what to do or how to solve this issue or how to use this manipulative than take a guess at it and maybe end up being a distraction to themselves or the other students. Something that my mentor teacher taught me when it was my first year teaching a long time ago is that you really need to think about the way that you want your students to move around the room, how to ask for help, how to get support when they need it, because those are the things that might really disrupt a math workshop flow if something is going wrong. So giving them the opportunity to practice those routine skills instead of also having the cognitive load of doing something that might be challenging for them math-wise is why step number 1 is so important, to let them really play with it so their focus can be on how to be in math workshop versus what it is that you're doing during math workshop, especially when starting out the year. Step number 4, use a station chart or an anchor chart. This is something that has been so helpful for my students. Is I have a station chart, digital station chart, that I change daily. It's really easy to do. And that way your students will see it and know exactly where they're going, who's in their group, what they're supposed to do when they get there. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite things because my students just see the station chart and all of a sudden they're excited. They're like, yes, it's station time. They know what they're going to do. They know it's going to be games and learning and fun. So using the station chart is super helpful for the way that your stations go and also for the students to understand what it is that they're going to be doing that day. And finally, step number 5, do not be afraid to revisit expectations. If something isn't working out for you, if something's not working out for the students, talk about it, have a conversation about it. And if it's something that the class can figure out together, maybe pose that as a question. What can we do together to make this work better or that work better? Because a lot of times students have great ideas of what things they can do to make them more successful and in turn make your station time more successful. A quick recap first. Don't do math during math workshop time. Set clear expectations. Practice those expectations. Use the station chart and revisit those expectations as needed. So those are my 5 tips for setting up an amazing math workshop time that'll work all year long. feel free to leave any questions or comments you have down below. The link to the station chart I use will be in the description down below. See you next time.